Hello and welcome to Digestion and Absorption Part 2. We will discuss digestive glands and digestion of food in this video. The digestive glands associated with the alimentary canal include salivary glands, liver, and pancreas. Saliva is mainly produced by three pairs of salivary glands: the parotid gland, submandibular or submaxillary gland, and sublingual glands. The parotid glands are present in the cheek, submandibular glands are present in the lower jaw, and sublingual glands are present below the tongue. These glands are situated just outside the oral cavity and secrete saliva into the oral cavity. The parotids open in the buccal cavity through Stenson's duct, the submandibular glands open through Wharton's duct, and sublingual glands open by duct of Rivinus, which are multiple small ducts. The major duct out of them is the Bartholin duct. Let's look at the composition of saliva. Water is the major component of saliva. Saliva also contains electrolytes like sodium, potassium, chloride, and bicarbonate, enzymes like salivary amylase and lysozyme, and mucus. So let's move on to liver. It is the largest gland of the body. Weight of liver in adult humans is about 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms. It is located in the abdominal cavity below the diaphragm. It is made up of two lobes, right lobe and left lobe. And the right lobe of liver is bigger than the left lobe. When a part of liver is observed under a microscope, the functional and structural units, which are the hepatic lobules, can be seen. Each hepatic lobule is roughly hexagonal in shape, with central vein in the center of the hexagon, as shown by the blue circle in the diagram. Hepatic cells are red colored cells. They are arranged in cords. It means that they are arranged in a line like a string. The hepatic lobules are covered by a thin connective tissue sheath called the Glissen's capsule. Hepatic cells secrete bile. This bile passes through the hepatic ducts and is stored in the gallbladder. Let's look at the duct system of liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Right and left hepatic ducts join to form common hepatic duct. Cystic duct is the duct of gallbladder. The common hepatic duct and the cystic duct join to form common bile duct. Common bile duct joins with pancreatic duct to form the hepatopancreatic duct, which opens in the second part of duodenum. This opening is guarded by a sphincter called a sphincter of Oddi. Let's recap. Right and left hepatic ducts arise from the liver and they join to form common hepatic duct. Cystic duct arises from the gallbladder. The cystic duct and common hepatic duct join and form the common bile duct. Common bile duct joins with the pancreatic duct to form the hepatopancreatic duct. The hepatopancreatic duct opens into the second part of duodenum and this opening is guarded by a sphincter called a sphincter of Oddi. A few words about pancreas. It is situated between the C-shaped duodenum. Pancreas has both exocrine and endocrine functions. Exocrine gland is a gland which secretes its substances through a duct. Example, salivary glands are exocrine glands as they secrete saliva in the buccal cavity through ducts. And endocrine glands secrete their products directly into the bloodstream. Example, thyroid gland secretes thyroid hormone in the blood directly. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice in the duodenum by the pancreatic duct, and there are certain cells of pancreas which secrete hormones like insulin, glucagon directly in the bloodstream. Hence, pancreas has both exocrine and endocrine part. Let's move on to digestion of food. Digestion is a process of breakdown of large insoluble food particles into smaller molecules which can be absorbed by the body. It is achieved by both mechanical and chemical process. Digestion begins in the oral cavity. When we chew our food, it is called as mastication. Our teeth help in mastication. Tongue helps in rolling of the food and mixing of the saliva, and a bolus is formed. Saliva contains electrolytes like sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, enzymes like salivary amylase, which breaks down carbohydrates, and lysozyme, which has antibacterial activity, and mucus, which helps in adherence and lubrication of the bolus. The chemical process of digestion also starts in the oral cavity, where starch is broken down into a disaccharide, maltose, by the enzyme salivary amylase. Optimum pH of an enzyme is the pH where the enzyme is most active. Optimum pH for salivary amylase is 6.8. So the bolus which was formed is then swallowed. The process of swallowing is called as deglutition, and the bolus reaches its pharynx and then into the esophagus. From the esophagus, it reaches the stomach with the help of peristaltic movements of the esophagus. So the bolus has now reached the stomach. Gastric glands are present in the mucosa of the stomach. This is a diagrammatic representation of a gastric gland. It contains mucous neck cells which secrete mucus, peptic or chief cells which secrete pepsinogen, and parietal or oxyntic cells which secrete hydrochloric acid and intrinsic factor. The acidic pH of stomach is maintained by hydrochloric acid, and intrinsic factor is required for absorption of vitamin B12. Small amount of lipases are also secreted by gastric glands. Food stays in the stomach for 4 to 5 hours and is mixed with gastric juice by churning movements of the gastric muscles, and chyme is formed. Peptic or chief cells secrete pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is a zymogen, which means it is inactive. It is converted to active pepsin on exposure to hydrochloric acid. Pepsin then breaks down proteins into proteoses and peptones. Optimal pH for pepsin is 1.8. This acidic pH is due to hydrochloric acid. Mucus secreted by mucous neck cells and bicarbonates provide lubrication. They also protect gastric mucosa from excoriation by hydrochloric acid. In stomach, there is digestion of proteins by pepsin and digestion of fats by lipases, but digestion of carbohydrates does not take place because amylase is not secreted in the stomach, and also salivary amylase, which reaches the stomach, gets inactivated in the acidic pH. And lastly, renin is an enzyme present in gastric secretions of infants, and it breaks down proteins present in milk. Please do not confuse this renin with renin, R-E-N-I-N. This renin is secreted by juxtaglomerular cells in kidneys. When chyme reaches the small intestine, movements of muscular layer of the small intestine mixes the chyme with intestinal secretions. And the intestinal secretions contain bile, pancreatic juice, and intestinal juice, which is also known as succus entericus. Let's look at pancreatic juice first. It contains enzymes and bicarbonates. Bicarbonates provide alkaline pH of the small intestine and also protects the mucosa of small intestine from gastric acid. Many enzymes secreted by pancreas are zymogens like trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, and procarboxypeptidases. Pancreas also secrete pancreatic amylases, lipases, and nucleases. The zymogens, that is the inactive enzymes, are activated in the small intestines after they are secreted. For example, trypsinogen is converted to its active form trypsin by enzyme enterokinase. Enterokinase is secreted by cells of intestinal mucosa. Trypsin then helps in activation of chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidases to chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidases. Trypsin, chymotrypsin, and carboxypeptidases then break down proteins, peptones, and proteoses into smaller dipeptides. Pancreatic amylase breaks down complex carbohydrates into smaller disaccharides. Fats are broken down by lipases with the help of bile into diglycerides and monoglycerides. Lastly, nucleases in the pancreatic juice acts on nucleic acids to form nucleotides and nucleosides. Let's move on to bile. It contains bile pigments, bile salts, cholesterol, and phospholipids. Bile pigments are bilirubin and biliverdin. Bile does not contain any enzymes. Functions of bile includes emulsification of fats, that is, it breaks down fats into small micelles which can be absorbed, and bile also activates lipases. And lastly, the intestinal juice or succus entericus. It is secreted by brush border cells of mucosa of small intestine. The mucosa of small intestine also contains goblet cells which secretes mucus. Succus entericus contains enzymes which further digest the broken down substances, mucus, bicarbonates and secretions from Brunner's glands which is present in the submucosa, protect the mucosa of small intestine from acid and also provide alkaline pH. Enzymes of Succus entericus further break down products formed by the enzymes of pancreatic juice. For example, dipeptides are broken down to amino acids by dipeptidases. Disaccharides like maltose, lactose and sucrose are broken down to monosaccharides. Maltose is acted upon by enzyme maltase and gives 2 molecules of glucose. Lactose is acted upon by enzyme lactase and gives 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of galactose. Sucrose is acted upon by enzyme sucrase and gives 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. Similarly, nucleotides and nucleosides are broken down by nucleotidases and nucleosidases into sugars and nitrogenous bases. And lipases further break down diglycerides and monoglycerides into fatty acids and glycerol. These enzymes are breaking down substances close to the brush border cells, and from there these final products are absorbed. The steps of digestion which we saw takes place in the duodenum, and the final products which are formed are absorbed in jejunum and ileum. And the undigested and unabsorbed substances, that is feces, are pushed into the large intestine. There is no digestion in the large intestine. Feces are then removed from the body by defecation through the anus by mass peristaltic movements. Our gastrointestinal system is under neural and hormonal control. Neural control is directly by central nervous system and also through local plexuses present in the gastrointestinal tract. When we think about a tasty dish or when food is being cooked in kitchen, even the aroma of food alters gastrointestinal secretions. This is our brain preparing the GIT in anticipation of food. So even if there is no food in the GIT, the CNS can alter the secretions of saliva, of gastric glands, of intestinal secretions as well. And our nervous system also controls the muscular activity of the gastrointestinal tract. Hormones can also alter the secretions of the gastrointestinal system. For example, gastrin, which is secreted in the stomach, and cholecystokinin, pancreozymin and secretin, which are secreted in the small intestine. This brings us to the end of the lecture. In the next video, we will discuss about absorption of food and few disorders related to GIT. Thank you for your patient hearing.